Finnish rockers Temple Balls are back with their brand new album. But can they impress two battle-hardened Gen X metalheads?
Formed in Finland in 2007, Temple Balls take the swagger of Guns N' Roses and the soul of Aerosmith, bringing classic rock to a whole new generation. Now they're back with their self-titled fifth album, fired up with fresh energy, big riffs, and something to prove.
Temple Balls self-titled. What an awesome album. Such a throwback to the 80s. Great melodies, catchy riffs, great hooks. The vocals were awesome. Actually, Dave, he reminded me of the singer from our own Sister's Doll, Australia's own.
Yeah.
There are so many influences at play here. The old school, but as I said, just sort of a current vibe as well. Like Heat, from Sweden. Yep. They really had a good Heat vibe. I like that they had less production than Heat. I mean, I really like Heat, but sometimes the overproduced sound annoys me a bit. Yeah. Temple Balls did not have that. It was perfect.
I agree. Just straight up letting the songs and the band and the musicianship just shine all the way through. Like you said, you get the Guns N' Roses, you get your Van Halens, you get all that great stuff that we grew up with. But I also get some Reckless Love. This album has just, you can use one word to describe it, and that's cool. It's just got that cool swagger. You got cool songs, you got such great earworms in the choruses. Each one has its own hook, and you can just picture, you go through the track list and just hear exactly what the choruses are for each song. And the composition, it's hard rock. It's got that fist pumping riffs all the way through. But then they do something in a lot of songs that a lot of bands don't. They dial it down. They let the bass and the drums kick in for a little bit of just cool, laid-back atmosphere. It can be like a guitar strum in there. It just gives an atmosphere. And then you get that punch for the chorus, and it's fist pumping. Love to see this live. But sometimes they're just cruising with purpose. Other times they switch gears and you get that infectious good feel.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll catch you. And while the songs were all of a type because of the band staying true to what they do, they didn't have a sameness about them. They're all diverse enough to sound like, have their own individual identity on the album. And that's why you can remember the choruses or the verses of these songs, even after only a few listens. It's only been out less than a week at this point, but it's in me now, and I'm not going to stop listening to it. I think it's great, and absolutely have fun with this band. B2C live. I do hope they come down to Australia, because I can't see myself getting to Finland anytime soon.
So Finland has to come to us, guys. Come on, bring a whole bunch of Finland bands down.
Yeah, please. Flashback Dynamite, what an absolute banger of a song to kick off the album with.
That sets the tone.
It lets you know exactly what you're in for.
My first listen through the album, you're completely new territory, and you get to the third song, you think, okay, there's going to be a slower one. Okay, that doesn't happen. The fourth one, fifth, maybe kind of expecting the power ballad to happen, but it never actually shifted gears down to that level, which was great in a way, because you have your cliched album expectations, 1 or 2, 3 rockers, and then they dial it back. But this was just high energy all the way through, but not overwhelmingly so. Every single song had its own feel, its own energy, its own story. The third song, Tokyo Love, that has got to be a single at some stage. If it's just an album track, then what an album track it is. But right from that opening, and you got that melody, and then it becomes like the main verse or the chorus theme. Tokyo. Yeah. But then
hear it in my head right now.
Right before it kicks in, I think it's like a guitarist or the bass. Just like that cool shit. It's just so fun.
Love those sorts of details. They are. That's exactly what they're doing. They're having fun. Another standout for me was Hellbound. That was such a metal anthem, like through and through. It would have been cool if, it goes back to the 1988 the Hellraiser sequel, Hellbound. How cool would that have been as like the closing credits song on that movie? It would just be perfect. But no, we're 40 years too late.
It's always cool when you get a band that obviously enjoys themselves. I've never seen them live or any live footage, but you can tell that they're more than the band. They're kind of a gang, that old school Guns N' Roses, Skid Row. You fit together as a group. And something that comes across in these songs is the gang vocals. A lot of bands do that throughout the decades, but some people overdo it. And this just has that whole punchy moments of songs where just that emphasis on the backing vocals, just bringing it in and just highlighting what the singer's doing. It works together and you can tell the fun that they're having. So it just makes it an even more icing on the cake for a fantastic listen. One thing that really stood out for me in this album, and you kind of need a texture to separate from other albums in your genre, from other bands in your genre, it can be the simplest thing. And what really stood out was the song We Are the Night. And there's a saxophone that comes in.
Oh my God.
How cool was that?
Yes, saxophone solo. I was not expecting that. Again, that was such a big thing to do in the 80s, have a saxophone solo in, and maybe not so much in the hard rock and metal world, but who cares? It works so well.
Exactly.
I love that. What a cool moment.
The whole pop world, it's popular, so there's nothing wrong with a rock band writing songs that are good for radio and are catchy, and putting that saxophone in there just gave a whole new texture, and it works so well. It matched the energy, gave a whole new vibe. I'd love to hear more bands bring saxophone into it. It's kind of like the forgotten accompanying instrument. Yeah,
they're so expressive. But then the guitar solos on this album were, so good. I want to hear more of those as well. They were a perfect mix of technical proficiency and the looseness you get from someone who understands music and feels music.
Yes.
So props to the guitarist.
As you were saying about the solos, a lot of them bring to mind like Sweet Child of Mine, just that slash where he just starts off with a phrase and then builds up, it gets more and more dramatic, and it takes you one part of the song to the next, and he does this so well throughout the course of this album. It's just he can trip, he can play his heart out, but he doesn't need to show off. It's a song, get those phrases in there, capture the listener, singer gets a chance to shut up for a little bit, guitarist takes over, build it up, show off your chops, bring up to the next part of the song. That's exactly what I want from a cool guitar solo in this type of genre, this type of music.
For sure. Overall, this album wasn't groundbreaking sound or anything. It wasn't pushing the boundaries of its style even, but just sat in the pocket in the best way possible, and just a fantastic example of a band that know what kind of music they want to write and play, and they did it just to perfection. They've been doing it for a while and they just have nailed it on this 5th album. Transported back. I mean, we lived through the era of this music the first time around, and it's just so good that there's bands still putting out albums like this. It's like the last 30 years has never happened. I adore it when I find a band like this.
Very much my thoughts exactly.
Yeah.
You can't turn back the clock and you can't relive, you can't rehash everything, but when you find something that just fits that pocket and it just goes back and it brings back all that excitement, that passion, that love, that enjoyment, this is exactly what that does.
It's just such a good vibe.
And for people that probably weren't even born when that era was even over, possibly not even born during the grunge era, you just capture that spirit. I mean, you get it. You guys nailed it. You pleased these old Gen Xers, and we couldn't be happier. More guys, come on.